The drops I'll be using today are the Pops of Color from Scrapbook.com. So super cute and pretty and pearlescent.
You can say these act very much like frosting, very soft, almost like a royal icing, and they're beautiful. They are a dream.
You can add some lines with it if you want. If you're worried your lines aren't straight, you don't have to. Or you can, like I said, live into it and get squiggly.
How to make your drops look round. If you watch what I'm doing here, I'm just squeezing a little bit out, and then I kind of swirl that tip of the drop back into itself, so I'm not leaving a peak.
I need bigger bottles of these, she says. These Pops of Color are my newest favorite staple in my craft area. Love how easy they are to use. Good job, Scrapbook.com. And I totally second that, because those Pops of Color, they're super smooth, creamy, and I love them. The colors are fabulous.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We have a special limited time offer for you today. This sale is our ColorCase with our Pops of Color bundle. This is the perfect liquid embellishment to use on all of your projects, plus the perfect storage to store it in. The sale for this bundle is on for 2 days or while supplies last, so you're gonna wanna grab yours before they're gone. In this live stream, we will be showing you what's included in this bundle, and you're going to love all the tutorials we are going to show you today. Marie from Marie Nicole Designs will show you how to make a quick card with Pops of Color. Mary Polanco is going to make card backgrounds with them. And Ryan Swift from Glitter Grunge Greetings is going to demonstrate Pops of Color on 2 amazing cards. So stick around for the whole live stream so you don't miss a thing. Our team is standing by on Facebook and YouTube to answer all of your questions and comments. The MSRP on this bundle is $38, but there is a special limited time price of $19.99 right now. You get the 1 ounce color case with a lid, you get the 8 Pops of Color, and let me show you each of the colors. You get bubblegum, cherry pie, orange sherbet, lemon chiffon, green apple, ocean waves, deep sea, and soft lilac. Gorgeous rainbow array of colors. These liquid embellishments are perfect for adding pops of dimension to your cards, layouts, handmade gifts, and more. It dries with a 3D dimension, and it dries hard. It has a pointed tip for precise application, and it has a gorgeous pearlescent finish. All right, so when you get your Pops of Color, you want to make sure you take out the red stopper in the top. We designed these to have a childproof lid and a red stopper inside so that it does not leak or combust in travel. So all you're going to do is take off the lid, and you are going to unscrew to take off the tip, and then the red stopper should come out right in your hand like that. And I just take a Lysol wipe or a tissue and just pull it out. Discard the red stopper, and then just screw your tip back on, and you are ready to go. All right, don't forget that our Pops of Color bundle with the color case is only $19.99 for 2 days only or while supplies last. To take advantage of this offer, if you're watching us on Facebook, be sure to click on the link in the comments, or on YouTube in the description, you can click on the link. We are so excited now to toss over to Marie Nicole Designs. She is going to show us how she used the Pops of Color to make a beautiful card and stencil with it. This is going to be fun. So let's see how she stencils with the Pops of Color. Marie?
I'm going to go ahead and make a simple card and just show you how you can use these Pops of Color as little dimensional accents on your cards. So I have this Cards for Kindness stamp set from Scrapbook.com. It's got this cute little image here of an envelope with a heart on it, and I'm just going to stamp that all over my background so that I can make a really cute little card background. Now I wanted to put some fun color onto those little hearts, so I'm using the Pops of Color, and I'm just going to go ahead and fill in those heart areas with different colors of these Pops of Color. So I went ahead and I just put a sentiment on this card and finished it off, and I really love that pearlescent color you get from those Pops of Color. So another technique I'm going to show you here is stenciling with these Pops of Color. Now I've done this with different mediums before, and I think we all like to see the little squeeze bottles and think that there's just for making little round drops on your cards, but this is a fun medium medium that you can work with to do other things as well. So I wanted to show you how I stenciled with it and a few tips to get some good results here. Now I always like to go ahead and tape my card front down from the back of the stencil. That way it's taped down, it's not going to move, and your tape is not in the way of the stencil, so you can get a full stenciled background on your card. I've just squeezed out some of those pops of color, and I'm taking this scraper from Scrapbook.com, and I am just going to spread it all over my stencil. Now you can see there, I put a little bit of drops at the top and I scraped it down, and it's not making a very good stenciled background at all. So I went ahead, I put that stencil back on, and I'm putting more of these drops, and I'm kind of squeezing it all the way down in the areas that I want it to go. This time when I took my scraper or spreader, whatever you want to call it, I had more drops to spread, and it really got into that stencil and made a really fun background. Now, if you want to, you can kind of scrape them into each other so those colors blend a little bit, and that's what I did. And I really love this mod circles background with that pearlescent pops of color. It really looks like it's meant for stenciling. You get a nice even application. And I wanted to say, before you go ahead and clean off your stencil, you can spritz it with a little bit of water. I took another background and I just pressed it into that stencil, and I'm picking up some of that leftover color from my stencil, and I'm making another impression on a background. But you can see you get that bold background from stenciling directly onto your paper, and then you get a little bit more of a faint background if you pick up that color with another piece of cardstock. And I wanted to show you how you can use these pops of color on some die cuts as well. I've cut some of these words from some Scrapbook.com dies, and I'm just putting them back into that area of paper that I cut them out of. So it's going to hold them in place as I spread some of these pops of color on. Now I'm kind of doing what I did with my stenciling. I'm just squeezing a little bit onto the tops of my letters here. I'm not trying to cover the whole thing because I'm actually going to spread this out and color it by spreading it. Now once you have your die cut covered, you can just pull it out of that cardstock carefully and set it aside to dry. It gives it a really kind of light, almost watercolor look with that pearlescent finish, and I thought it was really pretty. So I did another word here. I did hello with some of those pinks and purples and blues, and I stuck that on my stenciled background, and I think it's just a really fun, simple way to use these pops of color.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Marie. I loved seeing how you used the stencil background with the pops of color to create that textured look with the pearlescent mermaid looking color. I loved it. It was so pretty. The pops of color are so versatile that you can use them like that with stencils, with your fingers, with paint brushes, lots of different mediums to create a beautiful background. So thank you for showing us that. All right, for those of you who are just joining us, we have the Pops of Color and ColorCase bundle for $19.99. This is a great sale. The MSRP on that is $38, but you can get it now for $19.99 for 2 days only, or while supplies last. You're gonna want this. You will use these pops of color for a lot of different areas in your crafting, I promise you. For this offer, just click on the YouTube link in the description, or on Facebook in the comments section. You'll see the link to come right to this page to grab your bundle. So be sure to stock up today and take advantage of this great offer that we are offering at Scrapbook.com. All right, we're gonna do some fun demos today with the pops of color. So let's get my 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper right here. I just have some cardstock down right here. I wanna show you something really fun. This is our Scrapbook.com craft scraper. It's fabulous for using with different mediums, and I'm gonna show you how I use it today to create a rainbow effect with the pops of color. So we're gonna start with our rainbow. We're just going to take our pops of color and do some big dots. That was my bubblegum pink. Here is the cherry pie, which is gorgeous color. They have like a pearlescent finish, so they're gonna give this gorgeous, like metallic-y almost look when you combine them together. That is the orange sherbet. And then we've got our lemon chiffon. Look how pretty these are. This is the green apple. That gorgeous color. This is like such a fun item to add embellishments to your projects and backgrounds, different kind of mediums. You can use paintbrushes, water brush. We're going to watercolor with it later. I'll show you how that works. This is our deep sea and ocean waves. And then we've got our soft lilac, our last but not least gorgeous purple. Oh, the colors on this are vibrant and beautiful. So then we're just going to take our craft scraper and we are just going to gently put it down right at the edge of it. And then we're going to go down and we're going to lay it flat and we're just going to scrape all the way along without stopping to create this gorgeous rainbow. Look at that. Just want to show you close up that beautiful, vibrant rainbow color. It almost looks like lacquer. So I'll show it to you. Got this left over, so you can use that leftover on something else. But here it is dry. It gives that gorgeous pearlescent finish, almost like a lacquer. So it's got texture and it's thick. So we're gonna now die cut it. So it has dried. So I'm gonna put this one aside, let this guy dry. Again, gorgeous, look at that. I love how this turns out, and I love this craft scraper. This is a really great price on our website as well. Not part of the bundle, but a great tool to have. All right, now I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine, just right here on my work surface, and we're going to use the die cutting machine to cut some of our dried rainbow that we already created with the pops of color and the craft scraper. This one is nice and dry. It does not take very long to dry, probably under 30 minutes when you're doing it thin like this, even less. I love that about these pops of color. They dry quickly and they dry hard. So you're not gonna get any tackiness or stickiness. That is the great thing about this, so it will not stick to your pages or your cards when you're using this. All right, so I've got my rainbow down right here that I'm gonna put through my die cutting machine. And I'm going to use our 3x4 pocket card die and just lay that right over the top of this gorgeous rainbow. Then I am going to add my plate and run this right through. Move that over a little bit. Die cutting machine, look at that. It cuts so nicely. It's gorgeous. Cuts through to make some fun dies with this rainbow pattern. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And it just has a gorgeous finish. I mean, it really is pretty. I wish you could see it in person because this is such a gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful, smooth finish. All right, and then I would take this pocket card that I created and I will use it to create a pocket card in my 6x8 pocket page. You can use lots of different dies to cut these backgrounds out that you create with the pops of color. That is the fun thing about this. So if you're looking for a rainbow or a solid color, you can use any of these pops of color to create the background that you want. I'm going to show you some other ideas. So now I'm going to take some solid colors that I created with the pops of color and cut out some other dies just to show you how fun this is. I just took some purple pops of color and swiped it across with a brush and created this gorgeous background. And it has a little bit of texture and this sheen. And so I'm just going to take my heart die and run this through as well. Get this set up. Put this through the Sizzix die cutting machine, roll it through. You can hear it cutting. It cuts through the pops of color, no problem. Using my magic mat and my plate and my platform. And look at this. Gorgeous. Look at that. It's got some like gorgeous smooth texture on that. That's beautiful. The possibilities really are endless with these pops of color and dies. You can go to town and create all kinds of backgrounds for your dies. Okay, let me show you a few other little examples of what you can do with the pops of color really quick. This is fun. You can create little dots on things and a little stitched effect. So I've got my rainbows from my rainbow die already cut out. And then I'm just going to take some of the colors that I need to add. Let's take some green. And I just created a stitching effect. It almost looks like a sprinkle, one of those long skinny sprinkles. And I'm just doing a stitching effect with my pops of color. This is the green apple, and I'm just finishing off this last arch of the rainbow. Look how pretty that is. That's fun. And then we'll just do some tiny little dots here on this rainbow. It's perfect for making little dots on your projects. You can just do it bigger or smaller, whatever size that you want, and manipulate it with your hand to get that size and shape that you want to get with that. And so I've created some little dots there with the green. And I'm going to let that dry for a minute, but while it's drying, I'm going to be very careful and add my little sentiment. I added some 1/4 inch foam double-sided adhesive on the back of my stamped sentiment. I'm just going to add that here. This comes as part of the rainbow die with the tag banner here, and then one more here. We will add that to this guy. And that quick pops of color help you add some texture and dimension to your projects. Look how pretty. I love these. I love the sprinkle look or stitch look with the pops of color and the dots as well. Okay, really quick, you can see here on my rainbow background, I just die cut the rainbow out of that, and it gives that gorgeous rainbow pattern, lacquer, pearlescent, smooth texture on all over this rainbow. I love it. So cute. And then we took our borders die, and our colleague Melissa created this gorgeous mermaid card, and you just you color with the pops of color, your backgrounds, and then you just use the die to cut the different colors of the border with the scallops, and it creates this gorgeous mermaid card. Look at that pearlescent finish. I love it. It's shimmery. So pretty. Lots and lots and lots and lots of ways to create backgrounds with the pops of color. We're so excited to show this to you today and get you excited to try and think outside the box and use our pops of color to create some beautiful medium backgrounds. So exciting. Okay, friends, you have got to make sure you grab these. This is the ColorCase and Pops of Color bundle for $19.99. Like, that is such a great price. You get all of these colors. You can create so many projects with this and have a gorgeous case to store it in. Don't forget to check out our link on YouTube, which is in the descriptions, and also on Facebook in the comment section is the link to take advantage of this great offer. MSRP is $38 right now at Scrapbook.com, $19.99 for 2 days only, or while supplies last. So stock up and grab yours today. Okay, we are going to toss over to Ryan Swift from Glitter Grunge Greetings. He is going to show us how he created some gorgeous cards using the pops of color. Can't wait to see. Ryan?
So for the first card, I'm using 3 of Scrapbook.com's hybrid ink pads. Hybrid just means that they are a dye-based and pigment ink sort of mixture. So they basically have properties of both, and I've never ink smushed with these particular ink pads, so I thought I would give it a try. I am working on my tonic white craft mat, and now I've switched gears and we're doing some very simple ink blending, and let me tell you, these inks are incredible for ink blending, and I'm basically just going in order here, starting with the Havana Red. So I am grabbing the Scrapbook.com Wave Stencil. I have used this before, but this time I'm actually going to emboss through it. So I'm using the Scrapbook.com Clear Embossing Ink Pad. What I'm going in with next is just some sparkly embossing powder, and this stuff is iridescent, it's clear, so it's going to be just a little subtle. As you can see, that's kind of the finished product there. I'm going to make my own glittered cardstock here, my own glitter embellishment. So I'm grabbing some of the 2-inch double-sided adhesive from Scrapbook.com, and I've just grabbed another piece of this Nina slimline paper. I'm just taking, this is the big, bold, upper, bold, basic alpha die set from Scrapbook.com, and I just am cutting out the word thanks. So as you can see, I'm just using some glitter. This happens to be the Vintage Platinum Distress Glitter Dust, which I'm absolutely loving recently. And what I'm doing is I'm pouring it over the already sticky backed die cut, and now I'm putting that little piece of wax paper that you peel off, I'm just putting it back over the surface, and then using a bone folder, I'm just going to burnish it down. And this kind of prevents any excess glitter from, you know, falling off your card, whether it's through the mail or whenever. You know, I mean, glitter's great, but sometimes it can be a little much, a little hard to work with. So I just simply cut out thanks from the card panel itself, and I'm going to keep the positive pieces off to the side because we're going to use that later with our ink smushed background. And now these are the positive die cuts from the card from before. I'm just going to ink up the edges a little bit with some black soot distress ink and a cosmetic blending tool, and then simply just a little bit of more of that liquid glue is going to help keep those alpha die cuts secure. And now we're going to start using these pops of color, guys, and these are beautiful pearlescent liquid. Basically, you make your own enamel dots, and yes, they are similar to Nuvo drops, but honestly, these guys are so much more creamy. Very different in its consistency, and being a cake decorator and being, you know, a professional cake decorator at that, I can say these act very much like frosting, very soft, almost like a royal icing, and they're beautiful. They are a dream. I have almost every Nuvo drop, and guys, these are even easier to use than Nuvo drops. I love my Nuvo drops, don't get me wrong, but these are really beautiful.
Ryan, thank you so much for sharing those beautiful cards with us. We love seeing your techniques, so thank you for sharing. Okay, I just want to mention to everyone that our dome blender also works great with the pops of color on stencils and backgrounds. So don't be scared to use the dome blender with the pops of color. It uses and makes a beautiful effect as well. All right, let's take a look at some fun photos from our crafty friends who have been using the pops of color. So we've got Kia Smith, who made this gorgeous rainbow card. It's so pretty. Look at that gorgeous textured background, so pretty. And Juliana Michaels with this Got Candy card, so cute. I love that background. And Hello Spring, beautiful stenciled background with the pops of color. Annette Gellenser used the pops of color in the Sunray Slimline die of Scrapbook.com's. That looks so pretty. Look at those gorgeous circles. I love it. Tiffany Russum used it on our Slimline card with the bloom background. Look at that. That is so pretty. I love how she put just a little bit of pop in between each of those flowers. And Marie Nicole Designs with her gorgeous envelope card that she demoed for us in the video. I love that background. It's so pretty. Look at those pops of color. So pretty. You can make dots with them. And then this card from Marie Nicole Designs, You Inspire Me, with that gorgeous stenciled pops of color background. Keisha Charles with her gorgeous dots. Look at that. That's so pretty. All that rainbow and design on the back with the dots. I love that. So pretty. And Sarah created these gorgeous little canvases using the pops of color. So you're able to paint with them on canvas. And here she has some pretty, pretty examples. I love that desert scene. So pretty. Thank you, friends, for sending in those gorgeous photos using the pops of color. That was so fun to see how everybody used them differently and creatively, so thank you. All right, we are gonna now toss to Mary Polanco. She is going to share with us how she uses the pops of color to create some gorgeous backgrounds.
The drops I'll be using today are the pops of color from Scrapbook.com. So super cute and pretty and pearlescent. And I've had a lot of different drops in my day, but I have to say, I really like the consistency of these. They're very smooth, very easy to use. They come out nicely. So for this idea, I'm going to keep this in here because I think that if you play around enough, you're going to find a technique that could work. In fact, the way I'm going to show you this worked, but I didn't end up using this for a finished card. So I'm going to first put down in rainbow order a drop of each of the enamel dots. I'm going to do that because I'm going to take my large spreader from Scrapbook.com. It's for spreading out embossing paste, and I am going to spread this across my sheet, my cardstock here. So I'm going to take my spreader here and I am just going to spread it all over the card, and you're going to get this really fun. I pressed a little bit too hard, in my opinion. After I played around with these quite a bit, I realized that I pressed a little too hard, but I think that was just kind of fun to try, so you can play with that. This one, though, is what I was really looking for in my mind's eye. So I took them again in rainbow order, and I'm just going to scribble them onto my cardstock. In hindsight, and if you try this, I would recommend watercolor cardstock. It's a little bit easier to work with in that it doesn't warp as much. This didn't warp that much, but you know, when I was finishing off my cards, it just wasn't as easy to get them flattened out. So here, like I said, just going to scribble those on. Now, if you try this technique, I would recommend that you move quickly, because if you keep the other card stuck on there too long, it starts to stick because the glue, it dries pretty quick. So you want to make sure you do what you're doing and then move it off. So that is the finished result of these. I love the spine kind of looking, almost like a jellyfish in there. I love that. I think that's so fun. This is how I finished off the first card. Just, you know, maximizing that rainbow look. All right, let's move on to changing embossing paste color. So I have some Alta New embossing paste here. I love the consistency of this type, but I find that when I add reinkers to it, it gets a little bit too watery. But with these drops here, I'm not going to get that watery consistency. I'm going to actually keep it the exact same pretty much. It's also going to mix very nicely. It does, of course, lighten up the original color of the pops of color that you're going to use, but that's to be expected when you're mixing it with white. If you want it a little darker, just add a little bit more like I did. And I'm going to get this really pretty blue. So now I have a consistency of embossing paste. I don't need to buy every color of embossing paste out there. I could just change it, alter it with what I have. So now I'm going to pull out this the stars stencil here. This is from Scrapbook.com as well. So I'm making some blue stars here. And of course the reveal is the most fun part. So the next thing I'm going to do with this is just to jazz it up a little bit. I'm going to pour some embossing powder over it in this sparkly darker blue. And you can do that with this because it's still wet. So when you're heat setting this embossing paste, you can kind of see it puff up just a little bit more. So that's a lot of fun as well. Okay, the next technique is to use your pops of color for filling in some of those colored or the image pieces of your stamps. So this one I did the horn on there. So you can do them on intricate pieces of the images, or you can just take them and go nuts on your card like I did here and just add a pink cloud. That's what I'm doing to my card, is I'm taking this really pretty pink color. Of course, any color you chose for this rainbow themed card would work, but I'm going to take the pink, and you're going to see the end result here is just a nice raised look. So you can use it for snow, you can use it for waves, you can use it for pretty much anything you want to just kind of make pop up on your card.
Thank you, Mary. That was gorgeous. I love seeing all your different techniques that you use with the pops of color. That was really fun and informational. So thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, for those of you who have a lot of Nuvo drops in your stash, those will also fit in this 1 ounce color case that you'll be getting in the bundle. So be sure to take advantage of buying this if you have lots of Nuvo drops that you are looking to store as well. All right, friends, I just want to show you again what you're getting in this bundle. You are getting 8 pops of color with the color case that has a lid as well. This is the perfect case to use while you're crafting. It is right there on your desk, and it holds them nicely upside down so they're ready to go for you. Gorgeous colors in the pops of color array here of rainbow. 8 different colors that are vibrant and you can use on lots of different projects. So be sure to grab your bundle today while it's on sale. This is a great price. We are offering at Scrapbook.com $19.99 for all of these colors and this color case. MSRP is $38 and we're offering it to you for 2 days only, or while supplies last, for $19.99. If you're watching on Facebook, be sure to click on the link in the comments, or on YouTube in the description above, click on the link to get to this awesome, awesome deal and take advantage of this offer. All right, let's go over to our friends, Jeff and Carol, who are gonna share some customer reviews of our pops of color.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff Lindberg from Jeff Lindberg Creates.
Hi, I'm Carol Weatherspoon. I have a couple of reviews from Scrapbook.com, Pops of Color.
Ryan writes, creamy and vibrant. These are awesome, and says as a professional cake decorator, he can tell that these are absolutely a dream to use. Very creamy in texture and then super dry, and they also dry hard. He loves the pearlescent finish and the subtle touch of glam. Thanks, Ryan.
Says, I have had trouble with similar brands in the past. They never have a nice rounded top. They are so much easier for me to use, they are creamier, and I'm able to control the shape. I would highly recommend.
And this one is from Linny. She says, fabulous product. She says that she's so happy with this purchase. It keeps all of her half and full ounce bottles within arm's reach. Also, if you choose to keep the cover off the 1 ounce bottle, you can also store glue bottles upside down and get ready for that glue to flow. She says that she's very pleased with this purchase and very impressed with Scrapbook.com's customer service. So pleasant and with quick resolutions. That's great, Lenny. Thanks for the review.
All right, thank you, Jeff and Carol. It is always great to hear such positive reviews from our customers who use our products, so thank you for sharing that with us. All right, let's talk again about this great bundle and what a super deal it is. This bundle is available only at Scrapbook.com. The MSRP is $38, but you are getting it today for $19.99. That is such a great deal. You get the 1 ounce color case and 8 pops of color. Gorgeous, vibrant rainbow of colors. To see more amazing deals like this, be sure to sign up for our VIP text on our website so you can take advantage of these great deals when we have them. All right, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have fun with your new pops of color.